Shalom, everyone. My name is Nuriya Yasha'Allah. Thank you for joining me here at the Light of the Lord Prophecy channel. I am going to discuss a dream that I had very recently. It is in regards to the wilderness period. You can read more wilderness period in, I believe, Revelations 12:3 or 12:4. If I don't have that all the way correct, I'm going to drop the scripture as I'm speaking right here, but it is in regards to the period where the woman with the crown of 12 stars around her head will flee to the wilderness for a time to be nourished. So this is actually a prophetic dream that the Lord gave to me regarding the wilderness period. It is for encouragement. It is also for wisdom and understanding. This is in regards to true Israel and also those who cleave to true Israel out of their love for the Most High and out of their love and obedience to the Father. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the dream. I have my dream journal up right here. So if you all see me reading from my dream journal right here, that's what I'm doing. I had this dream on July the 1st, 2024. So about 15 days ago, I had this dream. And I'm going to get right into the dream. At the beginning of this dream, I was in a swamp-like area. So being from Louisiana, or anybody that's from Louisiana or from Florida, in the swamp or in areas of marsh and wetland, there's these boats called fan boats. I don't know if that's really the term for it. I'll put a picture of it, but we call them fan boats in the South, and it's because it's these very lightweight boats that go super fast, and you only use them in very shallow water, either in a crawfish form or a rice form where the water is very shallow. You don't normally use these boats on very deeper waters. It's always on very shallow water. And they're not really created for deep waters either. They're so lightweight that sometimes you can see them skip on top of the water. In the dream, these are the boats that we were in. It was a large group of us at the beginning of this dream. It was a very large group of us. As far as I could see, I was in the front boat, and when I look back, I can see that there were lots of other of these fan boats with lots of other people. And like I said, it was a very heavy group of us, and maybe it was about 30 to 40 of us at this point of the dream. Now, we continued on. As I continued on, we're riding super fast on these boats. I noticed that we're moving in such a haste that we have to be running from something. So we're on these boats, and we're just going and we're moving in such a haste that I know I now get the understanding and discernment in the dream that we're fleeing from someone or something. But at that point of the dream, I didn't know too much of what it was. As time goes on, we're continuing to travel. We're exhausted. We are depleted. And we come across this abandoned house. It was ran down. It was definitely ran down. And it looked at like stairwells was wooden and was falling apart. Furniture was just falling apart. It looked at like nobody had been there since 1919. It was just worn down and tore up, right? So we're here, we make it to this abandoned house, and now we're trying to rest. We're trying to recoup. We're trying to gather our strength again, eat the little bit of food that we have, cleanse ourselves, get some sleep, get some rest. Everyone is exhausted from the journey. So everyone's getting comfortable at this point. Everyone's picking their side of the abandoned house, mansion, big building it was, recouping themselves. As everyone is finally getting comfortable, the Lord spoke to me within the dream and said, "Get up. It's time to move now." And he left it at that. So I immediately get up, I jump up, I grab my belongings, I yell out to everyone else. I try to spread the word. It's time for everyone to get up. It's time for us to go. And everyone is not feeling that now we have to get up and move, especially as exhausted as all of us were. They were not feeling that, hey, we just got a chance to relax. We're tired, we're depleted. Now we have to get up and move again. And a few of the group that we had, they were just not having it at all. Most of the group got up, they grabbed their stuff, they're ready to go. They're not complaining. They're tired, but they're not complaining. But there were about a few that were over it. They were tired of traveling. They were tired of going on. They wanted to rest. They wanted to eat. They wanted to they were tired, right? So all of a sudden, as I'm dealing with the people that is murmuring and complaining and saying they don't want to get up, as I'm basically trying to urge them to come on, the military, all I can say is that it had to be the military, because they were in full battle rattle attire. They were in all black, fully clothed. They were so fully clothed that I was honestly unable to see what race they were, because from here to here was all covered. All of this was covered. All of this was like a glass shield. All of this was covered. It was just full black attire. But I say battle rattle because they had on them bulletproof vests, they had on gloves, they had on a helmet, they had guns. So they burst in, and because the people that didn't want to get up were still laying down and they were closer to the door, the military people that bust in, they immediately shot those that didn't want to get up. They shot them and they killed them. And then the military turned on us, who were getting ready to leave. And then all of a sudden the Holy Spirit came upon me in the dream, and I started to speak words out of my mouth of judgment and declaring judgment against the military people that was trying to attack the ones that were being obedient to the Lord. So when the words came out of my mouth, it came out in golden letters in a swirl. And as the words came out of my mouth, the military people just dropped dead. Some slung and hit the wall, and then cracked, bodies cracked in half, and the others just dropped dead as I spoke these words. And once they were handled, they they were done. We continued on, me and the rest of the group who were being obedient to the Lord. We continued on. We kept running. We kept moving in a haste. We kept fleeing. And we journeyed further than we did the first time. So we kept going, extremely tired, extremely overwhelmed, extremely hungry, just depleted. We have pushed our bodies to the max at this time. And we're just traveling. And this time we were traveling by foot. So it was just a very, very difficult trek. So we ended up journeying, and we came across this mansion. And this mansion, although it was abandoned, nobody was living there. Nobody was there when we got there. It was definitely well maintained. It was beautiful. It was clean. It felt like there was air conditioning in the inside. It was perfect, a perfect environment for us to rest. It was big enough for everyone to grab a corner and prop up a little space for their privacy, and just to have a little bit of space to do what they need to do to kind of relax, sleep, cleanse themselves, all of the above. Everyone is now in this place getting comfortable. I'm getting comfortable. I'm laying down. A couple of hours go by where everyone's finally able to just have a little bit of peace. And then the Lord spoke to me again and said, get up now. And fierceness in it was so demanding, get up now. There's not a moment to hesitate. Get up now. So I jump back up and I instruct everybody else. I say, hey, we have to move now. Grab everything. And at this point, because of how pack it up and go we were, people didn't unpack too much to where if we have to get up and move, you have to scramble around to get everything put. It's like we had it to where just make sure that when you're done using something, put it in your bag so that if we ever have to get up and go, it's already stored up and packed up. Don't lay out and make a whole condo and then try to hurry up and pack all of that up. It's gonna have to get left behind. So with that being said, most of us it was so easy for us to just get ourselves packed and ready to go. So as a good chunk of us are getting our stuff together and getting ready to continue and move, because the Lord instructed us it's time to move, there was, of course, another group of people who murmured, who complained. They were just depleted. They were complaining, no, I'm tired. I don't want to move anymore. We've been doing this. We've been doing this too much. We've been getting up and going too much. We keep running. We never have a chance to rest. We never have a chance for anything. We're tired. We haven't eaten that much. We're all dirty. We're all sleep deprived. I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. And they continue to lay down. So they continue to lay down and get the sleep that they desperately wanted and all of the rest that they desperately wanted. And the lot of us who hearken to the voice of the Lord also instructed me later on, after we're leaving them there in the room, the Lord instructed me to direct everyone to crawl into the air vents. So these air vents were large. They were big enough for, I would say, a grown full-size man to be able. So imagine, smaller women, etc. So these were large vents for us to be able to crawl through. So a good chunk of us went up through different points of the air vent so that we can leave outside of the building. The Lord didn't want us to walk out a certain place. He wanted us to go through the air vents. And we are all crawling up. We all make it into the air. And all of a sudden, the Lord gives me a vision within the dream, showing me that the military people are outside of the door and they're about to walk in. And one of the people that was in the air vent with us, he was a male, and it's not his fault, but he was very harsh moving on the vents, like making a lot of noise in the air vents. And I remember telling him, when the Lord gave me the vision, pause. I remember directing everybody else to pause, to wait, because they're about to bust in. We don't want to make any noise that we're in the vents while they're entering the building. When they come in, and we already know what they're about to do, because there's people right there where they're about to walk into that didn't want to get up, that were just too tired. We're going to start moving out while there's gunshot noise going on, so they can't hear us moving expeditiously out of the building. So with that being said, after I instructed everybody to just pause and freeze for a second, don't make any sudden movements, the military people, they burst in and they started to shoot up all of the people that wanted to lay there and continue to sleep and continue to rest against the Most High's instruction. So while they're shooting up the people down there, I'm hearing people screaming and dying simultaneously, all of these things going on. We hurry outside of the building. And when we hurry outside of the building, we find a very open patch of grass. And there was this overwhelming feeling that all of us were now safe. We all had made it out. The Lord had preserved us and protected us throughout this journey. And I was instructed to speak certain words to them. Now, I was not instructed to share those words on this platform. It's because it's for a specific group of people, and those things are going to be sealed up to an appointed time. This was actually a first half of a dream. There's also a second half of this dream as this group of people, this remainder of people, continue to go on. Revealed, I was actually instructed to stop it here and to not speak the things that are sealed. So the rest of the dream is sealed. The dream interpretation is very straightforward. When we look at the testimonies of our ancestors in the book of Exodus, when we look at the murmuring they did when they were in the wilderness and how the Lord judged them because of these things, this is no different. History repeats itself. here we are about to go into the time of the wilderness period where true Israel and those who cleave to true Israel will have to flee because of persecution, because the dragon is going to come down and make war with the people and persecute his people. But during a certain period of time, we're going to go to a certain place that has already been prepared for us so that we can be nourished for a time. And that time period is 3.5 years, according to Revelations. Now, with that being said, there are going to be a lot of proving that has to happen. The Lord is going to purge the disobedient out of Israel because there is no room for it anymore. We have done this thing over and over again. We have went through captivity after captivity, and for the times to come, it's just absolutely no room for Israelites, true Israel, who are disobedient, who won't hearken to the voice of the Lord. The Lord is just not dealing with it in those times. The sheep will be separated from the goat, regardless of your bloodline. Those who will not obey the voice of the Lord, those who will not hearken to his voice, or you would just be shuffled off the board. Now, with that being said, it is imperative that you all work on your endurance right now. You work on the fruits of the Spirit. Yes, we have to keep the laws of God. We have to keep the laws of God. We have to be obedient to his laws. But we also should be walking in the fruits of the Spirit and trying to master the fruits of the Spirit, because the fruits of the Spirit are the righteous attributes and personality traits of the Most High. And we're supposed to be walking and moving in his image. So with that being said, you're going to need to be patient in these times. There are going to be times when we are fleeing to the wilderness where you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired, you're going to think, I need to rest, I need to stop here. And the Lord is going to tell you that you need to move. You need to be obedient to his voice. Doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter if you haven't eaten in semi-hours. It doesn't matter if you're filthy and dirty. It doesn't matter if you haven't slept in 24 hours. You have to keep moving, because it could cost you your life in the end. We've seen it from the dream. The dream was a message to true Israel and those who cleave to Israel, that now more than ever does he require your obedience. Does he require, when he says something, that you listen right then and there? It doesn't matter how you feel in the moment, because it's going to be imperative in the times to come. We are going to be fleeing. When you flee something, you are running from something. You're fleeing. So that means that until we get to our destination where we're being nourished for a time, you're going to have to stay on guard and stay on alert. You're going to have to make sure that you listen and hearken to the voice of the Lord. Okay? Now, with that being said, do not be the Israelites in the dream who let their stamina run out, who let their endurance run out. They didn't have long suffering, and then it cost them their lives because of it. Do not be those Israelites. Learn from our ancestors. Do not be those Israelites that murmured in the wilderness. Do not be those Israelites that were killed with scorpions and all of these other things. Learn from the mistakes of our ancestors so that when it's our time to prove ourselves and show ourselves worthy and show ourselves to be of the bloodline and to be in the image of the Most High and to walk in the fruits of the Spirit and to walk like Christ and be obedient, that we up to the task. It may be one shot where it's that one time where you decide, well, maybe I'm just gonna always continue to listen to his voice, because it's going to be important in those days. I'm going to leave you all with some encouraging scriptures to end this video out. This was the dream, once again, that the Lord gave me in July. This, like I mentioned, is specifically regarding true Israel, the wilderness period, in preparation for, prepare yourselves now physically and spiritually. Prepare yourselves now physically and spiritually for the time ahead, because it is soon. So as the Lord permits me to speak more about the wilderness period, I will. As the Lord instructs me to unseal certain things, I will. Shalom, peace and blessings. Bye-bye.